All right, welcome everyone to the Political Science Info Session offered by Oregon State University's eCampus. As we get started, I wanted to go over who our presenters are today. With me, I'm Simona Bocek, by the way, OSU eCampus staff, and with me are Monica Hubbard and Erica Walters from the Political Science Department, so they will speak a little later. So first thing that I wanted to go over with you is kind of the agenda for this info session. If you've never been in a webinar before, kind of what we're going to cover in here. So first, we're going to give you an overview of Oregon State. Then we're going to go into about some of the advantages of learning online here with us at eCampus. And then we'll get into the degree program. And then at the end of that, we're going to go into the question and answer session. So I want to ask you to go ahead and save your questions until the end of the webinar. That way we can get through the presentation, and then we have plenty of time to answer your questions. So Oregon State University, if you're not sure where we are or who we are, we're actually located in Corvallis, Oregon. That's where our main campus is at. We have just a little bit over 25,000 students. And the thing that I wanted to point out is that we are a real brick and mortar university. We are accredited by the Northwest Commission of Colleges and Universities. And one of the unique aspects about OSU is that we are a land, sea, space, and sun grant research institution. We're only one of two in the nation. And one of the kind of the benefits of that is that we do bring in a lot of research funds and research projects that our faculty are involved in. And in that way, so are our students. So you are actually going to be benefiting from the level of research that happens here at OSU simply by being a student, whether that's through classroom projects or simply by the knowledge that then gets shared with you through the classroom material. So let me get into a little bit about OSU eCampus. One of the things that I wanted to point out is our courses and the quality of the courses that we offer. So when we decide to launch a course online, we essentially, the faculty that teach it on campus, sort of our renowned faculty, come to OSU eCampus and ask for their courses to be put online. So then our team, we actually have a whole program development team that then works with the faculty member to create the course online in a way that is best for learning in the online environment. So essentially we're kind of marrying the best of two worlds, which is the faculty member who's our content expert, and then also our program development team who are really the experts in online learning. So you're getting a course that gets the type of content that you need, the in-depth content, presented in a way that's best for online learning. And the other thing I wanted to point out about OSU eCampus is that we have a fairly large offering of courses and degree programs. We have close to 30 full online degree programs, and then now we have over 800 online courses in 80 subjects. So even if you're in a certain degree, you can also take other courses to supplement that and to also kind of create a specialty for yourself. So if you have interest in other areas, you have a ton of access to our online classes. So a big question that comes up is, who are eCampus students? Who will I be in class with? So I went ahead and put up some demographics about our current students. The average age is actually around 33. So if you're thinking you're going to be in classes with 18 to 24-year-olds, that may happen, but the average age of our online students tends to be much older, tends to be around the 33 mark. More than half are women, and we now have students in all 50 states and about 30 countries. And then some of the main motivations for enrolling, in case you're wondering if that matches yours, is completing a degree. For example, most of our students may have started out at a traditional university in their younger years, dropped out for whatever reasons because of life commitments, and then decided to come back at a later time to complete their degree. And the online environment works best for them as far as if they're professionals working full-time, or if they're stay-at-home parents, or just simply prefer the online environment. The other segment, reason for enrolling that you might come across if you take our online courses, is our on-campus students also use our online courses to kind of supplement if they can't get into an on-campus course. So just know you might be in courses where there's traditional on-campus students in there as well. So here at eCampus, one of the things that we know about our students is that it's more than just taking a class. We know there's a lot of things that go into being a student, and we really wanted to create sort of a package of services to make sure that our students are successful, that they do graduate, and go on to have good, successful careers. So I wanted to point out some of the services that our eCampus students receive. And the first few are if you are fully enrolled here at eCampus. So Student Services Center, we call this sort of the mom and dad of eCampus. And so if things are going wrong, if you can't get into a class, if you're late on ordering your textbooks, or there's any sort of issues with your classes, the Student Services Center is really the place to call. If you need to schedule an exam, things like that, like I said, those are the mom and dad of eCampus. They are there to really help you out as much as they can within your classwork. And then library services, we do have a full-time librarian here at eCampus helping our online students with research, locating articles, books, whatever you need for your classwork. And then the next bullet down is online tutoring. So we know there's some classes that you may get into and you just need that extra help. We do have online tutoring available to our students. So it's a service that you can sign up for. And so if you get into a math class that's just a little bit overwhelming, you do have that additional support, or science class, or whatever you may need. And then a new feature that we just added to eCampus is career advising. We actually have a career counselor on staff. And so if you need questions about, is this the right career path for me? Here's what I'm thinking about job-wise. This person is available to help you with those questions, to give you kind of the full-on career advising. And then, of course, we have academic advising for all of our enrolled students to make sure that you are making the right decisions about your classes, that you're on track to graduate, and those sorts of things. And then the last bullet, I want to point out, this is really for our prospective students. So this is for some folks who are not enrolled with us yet, who are debating whether or not they should be enrolled here. And they have questions like, will I meet admission requirements? And then if I have a lot of transfer credits, which of those credits may transfer? So we do have pre-enrollment advising that will kind of give you a better sense of, are you ready to apply here? And then what, as far as your transfer credits, which ones will and won't? That person will give you a better sense of that as well. Okay, so that kind of concludes my portion of this. I'll come back a little bit later, but I did want to turn it over to Monica and Erica, and they're going to go tell you a little bit more about the political science online degree.
Excellent, thank you. I am Monica Hubbard, a political science advisor for the eCampus program, and
I'm Erica Ellen Walters. I'm a political science eCampus coordinator, and I also do advising.
Megan, and so first we're going to talk a little bit about the curriculum for political science, or actually a program overview about political science. So the political science program, we try to develop so it helps you get work typically in areas such as working in government, or if you want to work in politics, and it gives you a great foundation and a range of knowledge depending on your area of expertise or of interest. So a lot of people who actually start their program, their main goal is to get into law school. So we do see that, but a lot of people do the degree just to get a job in government or to enhance a job they already have. So the curriculum, as I already started, at Oregon State you need 180 credits. For the political science, you need 52 of those to be political science classes. Of the 52 credits, 36 must be upper division. And the reason I mentioned upper division courses, that typically runs into one of the biggest challenges for students in the eCampus program. And that has to do with the fact that a lot of students come in already with some political science courses from previous schools and so on. So upper division is a big thing to think about. Often, though, you can get through their program without having to take extra classes, simply because most of our courses are upper division. Now, of the 52 credits, we've broken out the classes. You have 5 required foundation courses, and we always recommend you take those first. Those are like Introduction to Government, Introduction to International Relations, Political Analysis, which is a course on research methods, and that helps you with the other courses in the future. And then we break it out into subfields, again, based on your interest or maybe an area you want to work in. You need 3 subfield courses: American politics, political philosophy, comparative politics, and international relations. We also mentioned that there is an internship, and we do try to require people to do an internship, but we also understand many of the students actually come from a background where they're already working or they have a lot of work experience. In that case, you don't have to do an internship. You can work on a project, which requires a couple more courses, but the same amount of total course load. So that typically helps a lot of students. Now, also, you will have a lot of courses, or a lot of students have a lot of courses they want to transfer in, and that's okay. We typically do accept a lot of these courses in if they can kind of match some of the requirements. And that's done on a personal basis. So you would have a meeting with either Erica and I to kind of go over what courses you've had and how they might transfer in. And that's pretty much it on the curriculum. Again, there typically is a lot of questions, but more specific. And again, once you're in the program, we can help you out with a lot of it. There are a list of classes, but just so you know, we are adding courses throughout the year. So these aren't the only things you'll see. There might be more in the future.
And Monica, can they add a minor?
Can they add a minor? Yes, you can add a minor, of course. And then we do have a minor in the political science program. And that will, you would actually talk a little bit with the College of Liberal Arts to kind of get that started, but we're happy to help too.
So again, as Simona mentioned, our faculty that are teaching on our eCampus online classes are the same that are teaching on campus. So you're going to be getting the same caliber and the same expertise as you would as if you were taking a class here at the actual institution in one of our buildings. The courses are developed by OSU political science faculty. They all hold a degree in, they all hold a PhD. And the online courses often match the content of the courses taught on campus. And then the learning outcomes, what you're expected to take away from the class is the same thing that the students on campus are supposed to take away from the class as well. And we have several really outstanding political science faculty. Dr. Brent Steele is the one that you're looking at now. He has received numerable funding. He has started up Project Vote Smart. He's worked a lot in government and environmental policy. We have other faculty members who write extensively on law and environment and rural studies. And so really, if you take a look, I encourage you to go onto the political science website and read a little bit about the different faculty members that you have, because there is a diverse array of faculty members and their research interests are different. And they really come from a nice eclectic background, so you'll get a good variety of education from there. So what do you do with a political science degree? A lot of people ask this question. And you know, the reality is when you get a political science degree, it's a broad-based degree. So it's going to help you get into a lot of different fields. You can go into law, as Monica mentioned. You can go into government and politics. Maybe you're interested in teaching. Even if you're interested in teaching K through 12 or earlier grades, political science provides you with that social science foundation that's really strong. If you're interested in research or humanitarian work, community service, or any other related field, business, economics, any of those things will benefit by you having a knowledge in either public policy or political science in general.
And did you mention you had a student that graduated? Do you have any examples of students that have maybe graduated that have gone on to successful careers?
Oh, yes. In fact, we have one student who graduated 6 months ago, and he started in the political science program, and he was able to get an internship for somebody who's running for public office. And he worked on the campaign, and this actually translated into working on other campaigns. He has since started his own consulting company working on political campaigns. That's just one example. We also have another person who's working down in Columbia for the government down in Columbia. He is actually slated to finish, I think, this term. So we have a nice variety of students. We have some students in the military and a lot of students who this is their second degree. So it's really pretty amazing the variety of students we see.
Right, so this is Simona again, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the cost of program because I know that is a big decision factor for people thinking about coming back to school. So OSU eCampus tuition rate. So we have $248 per undergraduate credit is the current tuition rate for our students. So if you were to do kind of the math about what a typical course, which most courses are between 3 to 4 credits each, to kind of do the math, it's a little bit less than $1,000 per class. We do have financial aid, so if you are a degree-seeking student enrolled with us, you can apply for financial aid. There are some grants now available, and we are continuing to work on scholarship opportunities for our students. However, they are limited for the online student population, so just know that. But I do encourage you to go on our financial aid website, which you can see I added the web address down there for you to go and explore. Don't worry about jotting these down super quickly. After the session, probably within 24 hours, we'll email you the video of it so that you'll have a recording of it, so don't worry too much about scribbling notes. All right, so let me walk you through admission requirements, kind of what's needed if you are interested in applying for this degree program. So all students, regardless if you're online or on campus, apply directly to Oregon State University. So you go through our admissions process just like any other student would. So the big question you need to ask yourself is, are you a transfer student, a first-year student, or a post-bac student? And so once you figure out which one of those you are, then you would go on and then go through the proper admissions procedure for those. And so essentially, first-year students is anyone who has very little amount of college previously or just straight from high school, a high school diploma. So it's usually less than 36 credits to be considered a first-year student. Anybody above 36 credits is considered a transfer student. And of course, a post-bac student is someone who holds a full bachelor's degree and is coming back probably for a second bachelor's degree. And just a quick note, OSU is on a quarter-term system. So if you are used to semesters, just know we are a quarter term, so that means we have fall, winter, spring, and summer, as opposed to semesters, and so that's going to make it a little bit of a difference. It also means you can start 4 times a year as opposed to 3 or less than that. So go ahead and, if you want to begin, visit the admissions page, which I went ahead and put the web address up there. And then we advise students to start the admissions process at least 8 weeks before the start of the first academic term that they would like to begin the degree program. This just gives it plenty of time to be processed, give you all the access, and be able to register for classes, and also order your textbooks with plenty of time to start class. So that pretty much concludes at least the presentation part of this. And so we wanted to go ahead and open it up to any questions that you may have about this degree program. So Monica, Erica, and myself are here. So feel free to ask questions about the political science degree or eCampus in general that you might be wondering about. So I will open it up. And I see there's one question. This is in regards to law school. They said they're interested in politics but don't want to go on to law school. So when it comes time to look for a job either in government politics, will that hurt them from not going on to law school?
Oh, no, definitely not.
You know, I was a political science major as my undergrad, and then I went on to work in government, and I went on to work for nonprofit, and it was not at any way, shape, or form not a good thing that I didn't go on for a law degree. I think it's really just if you know that that's what you're interested in going into, then the good thing is you could start sort of specializing that a little bit in your coursework. So say maybe you want to do more American politics as one of your subfields, that you can kind of build on that and enhance that. But it's not, while a lot of political science majors do go on to law school, I think that's becoming a little less and less now. I think that the field is really open as to what you can do.
Exactly. And I think if you want to continue your education after the political science major, a lot of students who want to work in government often go and get a master's in public administration, which is a great field to get into. And also, I think one thing to point out with our political science, or OSU political science degree, is the fact we've actually had students who got jobs in government based on the curriculum. We require a course called political analysis, and that course it's a bit more applied, and it helps students on stuff on research methods and also using like basic statistical software, which a lot of governments use. And so I've had a couple students who were able to get internships and therefore jobs with government just based on their knowledge of the software.
And actually, that's a great point that Monica just said. If you kind of know what you're interested in as well, then definitely pursue the internship option. Those often turn into jobs, or at least some solid contacts of people who can help get you into whatever area of interest you're particularly wanting to explore.
Mm-hmm. And actually, the next question is about internships. What if the student doesn't have a whole lot of work experience? Does that make it challenging to locate internships, or what kind of support do they have for that?
So we have a woman named Kathleen Stanley in the political science department, and she specifically works with students on helping them to arrange internships. And so just limited work experience, that's really a part of why you get an internship, is that you can get more work experience, especially in the area that you're interested in. So I haven't heard of it ever being any type of drawback for anyone coming in with more limited work experience. And again, because we have someone specifically dedicated to helping you seek out internships, and that we encourage internships, we'll definitely do everything that we can to help find you a placement that suits your needs and your interests.
So a question came up about coursework. Are there any courses on international politics, not just American government?
Oh, yes, exactly. We have a course called Eastern and Central European Politics, and now we kind of look through all the course sections. We have International Environmental Politics and Policy. We're actually developing, I think, a new course on international relations. So again, what we have now is the start, and we're adding more courses as we go. So there'll be plenty of courses on international relations.
One of the questions that we often get from prospects, especially if they've never done an online course, is what kind of interaction do they do? You know, how do they engage with each other in an online course, or how do they engage with faculty? So can you go a little bit into kind of the options and maybe sample activities that they might have done or interesting projects?
Exactly. Well, I think each course is a little different. Each instructor is a little different for the courses. But maybe just a couple examples. I teach the political analysis course, the PS400. And with this course, I typically will interact with the students first via email to get things going, because a lot of students are on different time zones. I don't like to make them meet with me at a certain time. But also, I try to set up one meeting per term over the phone, or if they want to, we'll do it via Skype. Just like a 5-minute meeting to talk a little bit about their research within the class. That way I can work with them one-on-one. If I have a student who's a little apprehensive to meet over the phone, I'm happy to do it via email also. So in that case, it's primarily over email or Skype or the phone. But in addition, I put up like videos on how to use certain software and so on, and then I'm available, it seems like almost 24/7 to be contacted. Now the interaction with students within the class, we have what's called a discussion board, where I pick a certain topic, and then students can discuss it over what's called Blackboard. That's our online site. To discuss the topic and to maybe debate a little bit if they want. But that's how we typically interact with students in the class. That's the Political Science 400 class. It's a little different for others. Erica, do you have an example?
Yeah, I do it fairly similar, and I teach Introduction to Political Thought and also Science and Politics, which is PS 476. And in both of those classes, we call it the discussion blog, and that's actually a fairly active part of the course, because that is the one place where you can really engage with other people on the course, and also to be able to sort of feed off of various ideas. And it's a place where I can get to know you better as a student, and I log in and I'll put my comments, or I'll write directly back to you, and so we can maybe start getting a little bit more of a dialogue going as well, so that you can get to know both myself, and also I can get to know you, which helps down the road if you ever are interested in going on and need a letter of recommendation, or something else comes up. That's something that might be important, is facilitating a relationship with the professors. Just like you would, even if you're taking the class on campus, you still need to sort of make a little bit of effort and introduce yourself. And so I give students the opportunity to do that, and also to sort of set up different discussions where we can talk about something contemporary and science and politics, and use that sort of as a springboard to maybe get into other topics and be able to learn a little bit more about each other's backgrounds.
And one thing I wanted to add about sort of the OSU programs and our online programs is that we really try to make an effort to make sure that our online students kind of feel like they're as much part of OSU's main campus as our on-campus students. So we always look for opportunities for our online students to be able to participate in the same way that on-campus students would. And so tons of stuff come up in the year, everything from, everything basic from athletic events, if we have football games, whatever it may be, we do reach out to online students all the way to, if there's a main issue being debated on campus. For example, we recently went to a no-smoking campus, and that created some debate, and so we wanted to make sure that online students got just every chance they could to be able to give feedback and be part of the debate. So, it ranges from that, but again, we do try very actively to make sure that our online students feel just as much connected to us as our on-campus students, and I think within the courses themselves, that definitely comes out. I had a question about the discussion boards. Being at a political science major, would you say that they are more animated, or how would you describe the discussions?
I think some of them are really animated, but I have to say I've never seen anyone disrespectful in the Blackboard discussions. What I tend to see is things like, oh, I really disagree with what you said, and here's why. And honestly, the level of articulation, I think, is almost a little bit higher sometimes than what I hear in classrooms, because people have time to process and think about their response. And the dialogue that gets going can be really interesting and very educational. Even really for me, I'll have students that will add a YouTube clip or a news article or something in with the discussion that I hadn't seen or read about, and it keeps it very interactive and really interesting.
Exactly, and I've never really ran into any problems between students, or again, being disrespectful at all. And in fact, it's usually really high quality, and I'm always impressed. And again, with the political science 400 course, I give it a topic to talk a little bit about, whether it's the ethics and research and so on. And some people might have a stronger view than others, but typically everybody's really good about backing up their view, and they really are respectful. So I've never run into any problems at all on eCampus.
No. And I want to back up for just a moment on something that Simona was talking about really incorporating eCampus students in with our on-campus. One of the things, we just had a meeting last week with our political science department with all the faculty, and we have just sent out a scholarship opportunity for eCampus students. It's the exact same for on-campus students. So we're incorporating scholarships for really when we talk about our political science students, we're talking about both on-campus and eCampus. So there's not a distinction in that. It's just really the forum in which you take the class. So scholarships will be offered to you, any services. We have a listserv for eCampus students that can kind of let them know things that are going on in the political science. Maybe there's going to be a guest speaker, and if you're close enough to campus, you can come and see that person. So we recognize that really it just happens to be a difference of location versus really any other distinguishing factor between eCampus and on-campus.
And I don't see any further questions, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this webinar. But I did want to point out that on the screen are online resources. I went ahead and collected a few key ones that you might be interested in to kind of help you with the decision making as far as whether or not to come to Oregon State. So feel free to check those out. And again, within 24 hours, we will send you a video of this recording so that you have it for your records. It's also going to be posted on our YouTube channel, so that's OSU eCampus if you want to check that one out. And there's also previous webinars for some of our other programs there as well. And if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to contact us directly at our 1-800 number. It's listed there at the bottom, or email us at ecampus@oregonstate.edu, and we'd be more than happy to answer those. So again, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Erica and Monica.
Thank you very much.
We hope you apply.